The Orville, Episode 6, The Krill. Those are some cruel bastards. Directed by John Cassar, who has a ton of television experience. Two that stand out to me is the Terra Nova series and Continuum. This is the first episode not written by Seth MacFarlane. It's written by David A. Goodman, who's written a lot of Futurama and Enterprise. This episode starts out with some Alara relationship talk amongst her peers, and then Bortus eating everything that's not nailed down. It was a good scene and it was nice to see the crew together hanging out.
I can eat many things.
Can you eat this napkin?
There are some great Star Trek jokes in this, you know, when Ed wants to hail the ship and Alara hadn't set it up yet, or the fire suppression being on fire.
Alara, open a hailing channel. Attention, Krill ship. This is the USS...
I haven't done it yet.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, you're on.
Now?
Yeah.
All right.
Once again, the Orville's outmatched by a giant Krill vessel, but they find a way cleverly to destroy it, which totally leads to them finding the ship and bringing in another larger Union ship. We get to see Kelly Hu as Admiral Ozawa. You might remember her from X2 as Lady Deathstrike, or, you know, The Rock's love interest in Scorpion King.
Holy shit.
She sends Ed on a dangerous mission, much like Picard in Chain of Command. Him and Gordon have to find the Ancana, which is the Krill Bible. We learn that the Krill are kind of like space vampires, and the fact that their world has a dense cloud that blocks out sunlight, so they're very pale and they can't handle bright light.
Dude, we're vampire hunters.
Let's go.
We meet a Krill Captain and his High Priest, Szezeron, played by James Horan, who's been in Star Trek Voyager, Enterprise, DS9, he was the Gemhadar first. They had a lot of background characters, but like, the guy's been in it. Gordon's rambling, probably should have got himself killed in this as they're heading towards the church and he's talking about fashion. Though, fashion is important. I mean, check out the High Priestess, that's a pretty detailed robe. During their worship of Avis, Seth picks up a chick named Talela. I mean, she's a female Krill. She looks a lot like Vastra from Doctor Who, similar like head molds. When Szezeron pulls out that severed head and puts it in a bucket and starts stabbing it, that was messed up, but like, I liked it. It really showed their resolve. When some interference screws up the device that makes Ed and Gordon look like Krill, their little hall projection, they have to go investigate and they discover a giant bomb and an evil plan.
Rana 3 is a farming colony. They have no defenses.
An ideal site. Yes.
I like that they actually went there to find the Ancana, the Book of Avis, and find some connective tissue and make peace between the two races. And then they figure out they're gonna have to kill everyone on board. And then Seth kind of changes his mind when he sees children. But he's put in a pretty tough spot. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy the comedy, but I like how serious this show can get. When the Krill Captain stabs Gordon in the leg, and he's like, ah, my new leg. Like, that's funny, but it was also pretty serious. You stabbed a main character. I also thought this was a good episode for Ed. I mean, before the divorce, he was on track to become a captain, and so they all thought that he wasn't going to make a good captain afterwards, but he's really showing that he can. In the end, they still have the shuttle, and they trade up, and they get an even larger Krill ship, so that's really going to help them in their little weapons division back in the Union. And they also get the Krill Bible, so that might help, but I think hostilities has just been provoked a bit further now. I really enjoyed that scene in the end in the med bay with Talara and Ed.
Our mission was in the interests of peace. But your crew was going to murder 100,000 people. What the hell else could I have done?
This was a much darker episode, and now we've got an entire week off heading in towards Halloween. Do you think we're going to get a Halloween episode? I mean, it is the first season, so you never know. All in all, I really enjoyed learning more about the Krill and their culture, and they seem to have a lot of hostility and an entire book about killing people. And Avis seems like a war god, you know, or at least, you know, puts a lot of hate out there. Maybe their civilization was like, you know, in ruins, and Avis just kind of put them towards this task to build them back up into a powerful race or something. You never know. It's a lot more story that we can go through. As always, thanks for watching.
Have an automatic fire suppression.
That's the panel that caught fire!